During this video tutorial I'm going to be talking you through the June 2009 paper 3 questions 47 to 54. It's the spreadsheet part, so we're using Excel, and reading the first two questions we have two files. We have the J79 sheet and the J7 code. Now when during these test sheets they ask for two files, I always find it easy to open both the files and to copy them into the same workbook. So on Microsoft Excel I'm going to open both the files, J9 sheet, file, open, J9 code. Now I have both open, I'm going to copy them both into the same workbook to make my life easy. So if I right click on the J9 code down at the bottom left hand corner here, and then click on move or copy, and then where it says to book, move to J9 sheet. I now have both documents opened and I can toggle through them like so. Looking at this document, I cannot see the date here because the column's not wide enough. So if I hold my cursor in between the A and the B and then double click, I will automatically adjust the width of the column. Right, the first question says, in the web page column, use a lookup function to show the company name. Use the C code column for the lookup value and the J7 code file for the array. So it's telling me where to do it, it's telling me what function to use, it's telling me which column to find the lookup value, and it's telling me where to find the array. So in the web page column, as the question says, I need to use a lookup function, so formulas, lookup and reference, lookup. The question says about a lookup value and an array, so I'm going to choose lookup value and array and click OK. The question tells me that the lookup value is in the code column, so the lookup value, this is the code column. I'm going to be looking up BH, which is B2. And then in the question it tells me where to find the array, which is in the J79 sheet. So J9 code sheet, sorry. So J9 code sheet, and then my apologies, this should be B2. And then in the array, J9 code sheet, and I'm going to highlight all the data except for the titles of the two columns. The question also tells me that I must use both absolute and relative reference. The lookup value needs to be relative reference, and the array, as always, needs to be an absolute reference. The array is a group of information and it always stays in the same place. To make it an absolute reference, I'm going to put the $ in front of the A, in front of the 2, in front of the B, and in front of the 12. On my keyboard, the $ is shift and number 4. I can see here it's already given me my answer, which is beginner's holidays. Click OK. Again, I'm going to auto adjust that column so it fits, and then I'm going to double click on the bottom right hand side of this cell when my cursor becomes a small cross to copy that formula down. And now I can see that's worked for all of them. Question number 50 says, in cell C2 use a sum if function, so it's telling us what function to use and where to use it. If the value in the page code column matches the content of B2, then sum the values in the minutes column. Again, use both absolute and relative reference. So what I need to do here, the question tells me in cell C2, so this is where I'm going to do my formula, and the question says the value in the page code column, which is here, if that matches the content of B2, which is BH, then I've got to add the minutes up. So looking at this, the first BH is 17, the next BH is 14, so I need to add all of these minutes up for BH. Question tells me sum if, so again, if I click on the FX here, or I can go through the function library here, and then type in SUMIF to search for the SUMIF formula. Click go, and then open the SUMIF function arguments box. You can type this in manually. I find it easier to use the function library because it prompts me more than typing it inward. So the sum range is the easiest one to do first. Because it says sum range, you know it needs to be a number. Or because it says sum, you know it needs to be a number. The range, you know that's a group of information. So in this question, the only numbers we're dealing with are the minutes. So it's easy to work out which one is the sum range. The range is a group of information, so I'm going to highlight this group of numbers. So that's C84 to C11. And then the criteria is BH, so that's in cell B2. And then the range where we're looking for BH is in the page code. It tells us this in the question. And then it says again, use both absolute and relative reference. The range, again, group of information, always stays in the same place. So I'm going to make the range and the sum range an absolute reference by inserting the dollar signs where needed. I can see the answer here is 195 and click OK. Now I want to copy this down by double clicking. For an example here, we have D is 91, and I can see here that it's now looking for B4, which is D. It's looking down here for D, and then it's still looking in the minutes column for the answers for the sum. Okay, next question. In cell D2, use a formula to calculate the number of whole hours. Use the minutes from cell C2 to help you. So in cell C2 we have 195 minutes. I know in hours that is 3 hours and 15 minutes. To get this into whole numbers, we need to use the int formula, int. So to do this, if I click in cell D2, equals int brackets C2 divided by 60 because that's how many minutes there is in an hour, and then press enter. I can see that's giving me a whole number of 3. Again, copy that down by double clicking, and they're all done. Next question. In cell E2, use a formula to calculate the number of minutes left when the whole numbers are removed. Use the values in C2 and D2 to help you. Okay, to do this, we simply need to deduct 3 hours from 195 minutes and see what we have left. So to do that, quite simply, equals C2 take away brackets D2 times 60. Enter, and that gives us 15. Again, double click, and that's that question finished. Next question. This is asking us to print a copy showing the formulas. I can demonstrate how to show the formulas. If you click on the formulas tab here, so the formulas ribbon appears, and then we have an option just here which says show formulas. If you click on show formulas, what you need to be careful of now is that you can see all the formula. So for example, in column C here, I cannot see the entire sum function formula. If this was the case in the exam, you would lose marks. So just double click on all of the columns to make sure you can see all the data within them. I can now print this, and that question is complete. Next question, interrogate the data. Interrogate simply means find, so or search or filter. Interrogate the data to show only the entries where the page code is HOL or PF. So to do that, quite simply, if I click where it says page code and then if I go back to the home ribbon and then sort and filter, when I click on filter I get these down arrow options here. Click on them and then I want to select PF and HOL. Okay, now I only have PF and HOL listed. The next part of this question says sort the data into descending order of minutes. Okay, so if I click on the minutes here and then sort smallest to largest. Sorry, descending largest to smallest. And next question, hide rows 1 to 9 and then we've finished. So to hide rows 1 to 9, simply I highlight the rows from the end here and then click on the numbers, right click on the numbers, sorry, and then click hide. And I've finished. Now you try.